Hi and welcome back to another episode of What's Cooking. Today I have a special guest in studio who's been around, I would say, cooking up a storm every single place that he has went. Introducing the one and only Deen Naidu.
Hi, good day to you and Ismail. Thank you so much.
How are you, Deen? Are you well?
Absolutely well. Thank you.
I'm honored today. I get to cook with Deen Naidu. How awesome is that?
No, it's great. It's always good being back in my hometown, Durban, and it's more of a privilege cooking with you.
You're back home. Brilliant. That's
Absolutely.
what we love to hear. What are you doing for us today,
Okay,
Deen?
so today, because we're in the coastal city of Durban, we decided to do a fish, obviously. Fish,
Best
from
way.
the sea
Healthy
itself.
as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to do a fish today that's very, very underrated because people think that it's a complex dish to prepare. We will be doing a sole that will be dusted in seasoned flour and fried in with olive oil and butter.
Right.
Then we're doing
You have to add the butter though, eh?
Absolutely. You got to understand the butter gives it flavor.
Right, yes, 100%. And I love butter. I'm a fattening man.
Who doesn't? So basically, the butter will add the ingredient of flavor to the olive oil, which does the frying. So that's the logic behind that. Then to do that, we need a starch. In this instance, we're going to use a very, very famous maize. Again, a maize that's not very much used in South Africa.
Yes.
It's North Africa,
But
Morocco, that type of stuff.
It's one of their staple diets.
Without doubt.
Couscous all the way.
Again, another maize that's very less used in South Africa, and our intention today is to get more people to use it and understand how simple is it to cook with. I think something about cooking, what I've noticed is people think that it's complex. They don't understand how easy it is to do certain things.
It is really simple. It's just a matter of getting it in the right way.
So absolutely. So we'll do a couscous, and I'll show you how to do it with a bit of vegetable just for color and texture. We've got a red onion. We've got some red and yellow peppers, and we'll flash fry some tomato and get that going.
All incorporated into our couscous, so we're packing with flavor.
With flavor and texture. Absolutely.
100%. And for our guests at home, if you're unaware, you get two different types of sole. You get an East Coast sole and you get a West Coast sole. Now your West Coast sole is a lot more chunky, a lot more bigger, and it retains a lot of water. However, you get the East Coast, which is a lot slimmer in texture. So I'll say the fish is slimmer, but it is packing with flavor. So at home, I suggest go around looking for an East Coast sole. It'll work brilliantly. Am I right, Dina?
Absolutely. I think the sole that we're using right now is more of a North Coast sole because it's in between the West Coast and the East Coast. Because it's got the flavor, it's got the actual width as well as the chunkiness. So I think this sole got caught between the two poles.
It's in between. Well, we choose the best, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll finish it off with an amazing sauce again, a lemon butter sauce, and we'll infuse it with a bit of mint. And obviously we're in Durban. We will use some jalapeno chili, and we'll actually break some of feta cheese on it. So let's get cooking. I think we'll start with the couscous right now.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Now let me just get our kettle.
Okay, so to get the couscous up and running, absolutely simple. We start off with, obviously, couscous, which we drop into a flat basin or a tray. We will now season it, okay, with a bit of salt and pepper before we start. A little bit of salt and pepper. So what's going to happen is that the water will break down all of these spices and get the flavors in. And obviously a bit of butter, because butter is going to help to keep the grains of the couscous separate, as well as give it the flavor.
100%.
So Ismail, you pour and I'll tell you when to stop. Basically, the golden question would be to
how much to
stop.
pour.
So basically about 5 millimeters above the actual couscous line.
You don't want to drown it.
So
You just want to submerge it and keep it in a bit of water.
A little bit more. Just a touch more. All right. So that's great.
Brilliant.
So what we're going to do, this dish is now done. Really, this is how simple is it to do.
Simple, easy.
Absolutely
for the
simple.
housewives at home who are always in a rush, you're coming home late, quick and easy, simple way to get a starch cooked.
Absolutely done. So the reason why we cover it with this cling wrap is twofold. One, obviously to keep away impurities or anything falling in it, and also not to lose any of the residual heat. Okay, and you'll notice already the actual the wrap is trying to expand. So we leave that out of shot.
It keeps the moisture in the couscous as well, otherwise you don't want it too dry and harsh on your tongue.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do, can we start with the fish?
Yes.
We're going to go with that. So what we'll do right now is to season the flour.
Okay, I'm just going to pop your
Right.
flour
There.
here.
Yeah, so we can go with a liberal amount of flour. You gotta understand, we don't want to go too mingy on it. We gotta get that sole to be well coated. Again, we'll season with a bit of salt and pepper.
You just want to grab the salt there, Dina, please.
Sure. Bit of salt.
And we've incorporated a little bit of dill just to add a bit of more flavor
Absolutely.
to our...
Dill is an amazing spice,
Especially with
both
seafood.
fresh and dry for seafood. Okay, and once the dill starts hitting the liquids of the fish that the fish imparts, it's going to bring a flavor of its own.
100%.
So maybe we can get the pan on.
Yeah,
on.
sure.
So you got to
on.
look at a pan that can accommodate the fish, right?
Yes.
So if this fish is about 30 centimeters long, it doesn't make much practical sense to use a 20 centimeter
pan, 100%.
You know,
The fish is going to be hanging out on the side.
Absolutely. I always say that the most important ingredient in cooking is common sense, and you don't find it on any shelf. So
agree
here is the
with that
common
word.
sense. So what we're going to do is a little bit of
oil.
olive oil and then a touch of butter.
Sure.
And just wait for that.
Just
So
a
while
little.
I season the sole. Season the sole.
Right, so as our viewers at home can see, it's just a quick dip in it, and that's about it.
Absolutely. So
You
this
don't have to submerge it and cover it, and otherwise your dish is going to land up a lot. You're going to get that flour flavor, which you don't actually want. It's going to give you a very coarse texture in your mouth.
Absolutely. You know, it's again. You don't want too much of flour because you, unlike Ismail, I'm working on it with a black chef jacket right now, and shows. And so basically, just a liberal amount of salt and just dust off. A liberal amount of seasoned flour, and we're gonna dust that off when we hit it into the pan. So there's no double coating and all the complexities that
It's
involved.
simple, clean.
Absolutely.
That's the way.
So what we're going to do right now, we know that we've got the couscous getting swelled up and almost cooking and rehydrating. We're going to do the vegetables.
Okay, cool. So what are we entering? We add a bit
Okay.
of oil.
Again, a little bit of touch of olive oil. And we're gonna and we'll allow you to go with the vegetable. We're gonna start off maybe with the red onion because that's gonna take a little while to saute. So we'll start with the green peppers, and I'm going to, since we want to enhance or catalyze the process of the tomato, I will half them because it cooks better. It imparts some juices of its own, and it gives it a unique and good character, flavor, and texture to the dish, and as well as it adds to the aesthetics of the dish.
Right.
Okay, so while we're waiting on that one,
Oh, butter.
we'll start off. The butter's taking a little while. Now, the reason why we put olive oil and butter together, because of the high protein content of butter, it tends to burn and blacken, and that's the worst thing you want to see.
Exactly.
The beautiful butter, burn butter. So we add a bit of olive oil with the butter to sort of allow for the frying. Coat the pan, and it actually reduces the burning process of the
100%. Agree with that.
Okay, so we're good there. And so what we're going to do again, we will most probably put the tomatoes in there and let that fry. We haven't seasoned as yet.
All right, we're
Okay.
going to season up just now. Just going to
Brilliant.
give the colors. It's absolutely
Beautiful colours.
stunning. Absolutely.
So it's going to be a balance of flavor and texture together. That's basically, as Ismail mentioned earlier, we eat with our hands.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Right, our pan
let me know
is
when the
good
pan
here.
is ready.
My
So
pan for my soul is
we're
good.
going to go in with the sole. So the sole has absorbed some of the flour. We're going to dust it off a little bit more. And we're going to do that. And let that sole rest in peace. We're going to have a quick look at what's happening with you. If you notice what has happened to the couscous, as I mentioned, we covered it with cling wrap and allowed it to rest for about 10 minutes. And I think we are ready to now
You can see
present.
how the cling wrap has puffed up the entire thing.
Absolutely.
There is absolutely no water. I can just see butter and our fresh couscous.
Absolutely. So all of the liquids have been absorbed into the couscous. You can further enhance the flavor of the couscous by adding in some kind of stock.
Right,
Vegetable or
yes.
chicken stock.
It'll
Right.
add a lot more flavor
Absolutely.
to the couscous.
So the last part of the couscous is to fluff it up and break up the grains, and you do that with a fork. There we go.
You can see it's looking beautiful.
Looking absolutely great.
Check on our soul. Another little trick that I've learned was to just glaze it. From
Absolutely.
the side of your pan, just take that butter up and just throw it on.
Okay.
Adds a lot more flavor to it.
the sole, like in all fish, all fish, and because fish is a protein at the end of the day, it's one of the proteins that you don't need to overcook.
Yes.
You got to understand, applying heat to it, it actually absorbs a lot of heat, and it, even if you take the pan off the direct heat, it actually continues to cooking because it entrapped all of the heat. So lots of people are guilty of overcooking fish.
And now, they always ask you why.
Absolutely.
Because they completely, fully cook it in the pan.
Absolutely.
And I explain to my viewers a lot about the resting process.
Absolutely.
And how important the resting process is to get your end result absolutely perfect.
Undoubtedly. You got to understand, it's for people like us to explain the process to them, educate the public, because at the end of the day, cooking is a science,
yes.
Right? And what you don't see, most of the time we don't see what's actually happening. So that fish has absorbed a lot of heat, right?
Yes.
And it's a very, very soul of all the fishes that I know. Is one of the most delicate of meats.
Yes, it is.
And it's almost buttery in texture.
It's my favorite fish, by the way.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Without
Everywhere
doubt.
I go, I must order a sole.
And it looks complex. I mean, the actual composition of the sole looks very complex, yet it's absolutely simple to eat, all right? It's got one center bone and nothing on the side. So it's one of the fish that you eat, or fishes that you eat, that you have the least thing to worry about.
Bones and anything getting stuck in your throat.
Absolutely.
Because your center bone just runs down there. A simple, easy technique, fork and knife, and all you're doing is scraping it off the center bone. And we're good.
Absolutely. Pass me a spoon here or something.
Sure.
I'm just going to get the vegetables into this. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we're ready to mix these sauteed vegetables into the couscous mixture, all right? And you will notice what's going to happen. There's going to be an explosion of color immediately.
That goes into your couscous.
Yeah, because what's happening, this is all creating a contrast. Sorry. Okay.
I'm operating the sole on this side.
Okay,
I'm good.
So, that's fine there. So we can get that off, Joe. So what we've got is, we've got the yellows, we've got the reds, and I'm just going to add in a bit of green for mint.
Yes.
Right? So the mint is just going to
It'll bring in that
further
green
enhance
color
it.
in it.
Yeah, something about chopping herbs or whatever sort. You literally fold them up together, literally get them into a bunch or whatever, and then you roughly chop them.
Simple as that. A lot of people try and cut like that. They end up chopping their fingers.
Yeah,
but they don't realize that all you have to do is actually curl your fingers in just a little bit, and your fingers are covered, so you're not going to chop yourself.
Absolutely. You got to understand, like people like Ismail and I, and the chefs that you see in the public sense, we weren't born chefs. So basically, to recap on what Ismail said, you just basically curl your fingers like this and run your knife on the curl lines. Don't try to be fast because you will finish up with a few.
With that, I promise you, I've lost a good couple of fingertips along the line.
Absolutely.
You can just see the color, the couscous.
So immediately we've got
brilliant.
this amazing color. You got to understand that this couscous is cooked to its entirety, that it has rested. What I'm actually very tempted to do is to zest it with a bit of lime. If you allow me to, right?
Go for it.
So I'm just going to get a bit of lime zest in here. It's just going to further enhance the dish because we're making a lemon butter.
Yes.
So the lemon again is going to complement the couscous. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to get that sole off the pan. You got to understand, because of the frying process and all the flours and stuff, that the seasoned flour that we put in, there's a lot of flavor in the pan. We don't want to lose that flavor.
We never want to lose that flavor.
We never want to lose that flavor.
That
and Ismail is now going to deglaze the pan with a bit of butter.
Always the fattening agent.
Always fattening agent. A bit of butter.
A bit of butter. Okay. That's quite a bit of butter.
And what I'm going to do is just to further enhance or get more liquid in it, I'm going to
squeeze a bit of
lemon juice.
And this
and
now we are
what's going to happen.
We're showing our viewers at home how to develop our sauce from the pan itself, because you don't want to lose any of that flavor.
Okay. So what we've done is you've realized we've actually washed off the bottom of the pan.
Yes, and
so
you have to
all the flavor is down there.
keep stirring. For our viewers at home, this is basically deglazing. So you're going to continuously just stirring, just try and absorb as much of the sole flavor as you possibly can.
Okay, so we're going to saute a bit of white onion. Just a bit, just for the chunkiness, okay? A bit of white onion.
It's going to be a fishy day today, eh?
Absolutely fishy day. And we're going to, for some heat, We enjoy a bit of
definitely.
We're gonna have a bit of jalapeno. Jalapeno is it's supposed it's got a sort of
A nice sweetish kick to it.
absolutely. People assume that jalapeno is hot, that type of stuff, but
Not always.
really it's not always hot. It's just it's got good character, it's got good form, it's got good texture. So we're gonna add some jalapeno in there. I think we're ready to plate up, and since Ismail had a very, very relaxed day today, I'm gonna get him to play.
Catching me
I'm
to
gonna
play.
get him to play, and I'm gonna watch him.
Sure, there we go.
So basically, we can use a nice square plate.
Right now, for our guests at home who actually they want to display out your couscous really nicely, I would suggest just take any ramekin that you get. I'm just gonna oil it just a little bit, right? So I'm just adding a tinge bit of oil. I'll explain to you why, and I'm gonna coat this ramekin completely. Right, and then you're just gonna take a paper towel, right, and just dab it around. Right, why am I doing this? You're probably wondering, why am I doing this at home? I do not want my couscous to stick. So I'm gonna pack my couscous in here, and I'm gonna plate it, and you're gonna get a perfectly nice dome.
Basically, yeah. So basically, the olive oil is twofold again. One, it is acting as a non-stick surface that's going to allow the couscous to disengage. And secondly, the oils will further enhance the couscous, give it a shiny.
Give it a nice gloss at the end.
More color in there. Right, okay, so it's done.
Right, a bit
So we're gonna pat dry, or rather stack this ramekin in right to the brim, and Ismail is
As
gonna
much
put
as
as much
possible.
as possible. It's gonna be nice and compact.
Yes, that is what we're looking for. Otherwise, if you underpack it, it's just going to disintegrate and fall into pieces.
Absolutely. Now, this method here you would use to, mold rice or anything, anything that can be put into a
Molded.
mold.
So it's just for visual appeal. I feel it looks so much
Aesthetic.
better. Yes.
Yeah. Before we actually go down, okay, just maybe a bit
Yeah.
more.
No, I'm just trying to compact this first.
When you're ready.
Right, there you go.
Again. Yes. Just a bit more.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are packing it quite nicely and completely full. So don't be scared to pop it in there.
Absolutely. So, I find people putting a lot of start into a large ramekin. You got to understand at the end of the day, this is one portion.
Yes.
So let's get that. So before we actually unmold it, and something that I noticed, as I said, another skill that's developed over time. I mean, you and I can both flip it over so quickly that we wouldn't drop a drain.
Exactly.
A grain rather. So basically, not everyone can do that.
I agree with that
So we decide on which part of the plate we wanted, and where would you say, Ismail? Maybe on the corner?
Yeah, definitely a
So
corner.
what we can do, I can guarantee you sound like it can do it, right? You guys out there,
I want to show views how to do it.
Very, very unlikely that you guys are going to do it.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to act like we're the viewer out there. So we're going to do it the 101, foolproof way.
101.
So we're going to go there, and we're going to flip it over that way.
Easy as that. Not forgetting to tap it.
Tap it a bit.
And it'll loosen up, and we hope and pray it works.
Excellent.
There we go. Now that looks brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just gonna grab the sole. The sole is a beautiful color. Eh?
Beautiful color.
Absolutely
as
beautiful.
we mentioned, we allowed it to rest a little while.
Here's a spoon for you, Deen.
Okay, I'll use a small teaspoon for this because we got to delicately.
Okay. What I prefer doing as well is I just love to squeeze that little bit of lemon onto the fish.
Absolutely.
Right, so I'm just gonna half this and just a quick squeeze. You want to get that lemon flavor.
So what happens here, and what Ismail is doing right now, the lemon is getting, we actually drizzling some lemon onto the fish. It's going to further enhance the flavor of the fish.
Of the dish.
So that
and that is what chefs are all about.
Absolutely.
We love packing flavor into things.
Absolutely.
So how hungry are you? Should we go 1 or 2?
I think, the sole is, it's got very little meat on either side, and it's misleading. So we'll go with 2 soles.
We'll go with 2. Done.
Since we are 2 soles here. Anyway.
But we're not the cooked ones, right?
We're not the cooked one. So right now, I think can I drizzle on the...
Yes, go for it.
So before you drizzle on the sauce, I'm just going to put it back into the heat for just a little while longer because
Tinge of cream just to bind it together.
Tinge of cream. You got to understand the actual cream is fat based, And what happens to fat when you cool it down? It solidifies to a certain extent. So that's the reason for us bringing it back.
And the amount of butter that's in there has all melted through.
Did we put enough butter in there?
That's a good one, eh?
I think we did. No, but, definitely butter is my favorite.
Definitely. I love it.
It's all about how you cook with it. So I think we're ready on that one. So I'm just going to add the sauce in. Just, gently drizzle the sauce onto this. Ismail, is that all right?
That's brilliant.
Okay, so instead of using a bechamel, that type of sauce, nothing beats a beautiful lemon buttered sauce.
Infused with mint, brilliant.
There. I'm actually coating it rather than pouring it. First I coat and then I pour. Okay. And just to give it some aesthetics, I'm just going to drizzle a bit around.
Just to make it the visual appeal,
Pretty.
always brilliant.
Okay.
You're just going to crumble the feta.
Just crumble some feta. It's more, we'll actually, the crumbled feta goes very well with the couscous. So maybe we start with the couscous and just gradually let it disappear into
all the way down.
And into, absolutely.
And into your sauce.
I'm going to gently break in some celery, some parsley rather. You got to understand the parsley against the white is just going to further enhance the dish.
It brings out the dish so much more.
And although there's tomato in there and maybe a slight drizzle of olive oil just to get some glazing. But I think we've got enough glazing.
I think this is looking brilliant as it is.
And okay, so basically we're gonna garnish with a slice of lemon.
For the person who loves that extra lemon flavor.
Lemon. Here we go.
This looks absolutely astonishing. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, for all our viewers at home, a perfectly grilled sole with a lemon mint infused sauce with a savory couscous. And now you know how to make couscous and a sole, presented by Mr. Deen Naidu. Thank you so much, Chef, for joining us. It was really, really an honor and a pleasure to have you on our show.
My privilege, definitely.
Brilliant. Catch us next time on What's Cooking. Thank you and goodbye.